can't lift the heads, will not, cannot, does not, will never blow a head gasket, drag and drive. It's impossible on an SML to pressurize the coolant system. Impossible. Cannot possibly happen. So that's where the porcelain's supposed to be. And this one, you can see the porcelain actually has come up. Alrighty, so you have probably already figured out that we are not at drag week. I'm not at drag week right now. Bailey's not at drag week right now. And you probably saw the video that I posted up. Tom just couldn't get all the car stuff. It just couldn't get done. There's a lot of damage that was done when that thing broke the 4-link bracketry off the car. And there's just a lot there to do, and you could watch this video, you can see exactly what he has to explain. So I 100% understand, and that's cool. So if you're asking, it's like, oh, why didn't you take your car? My car is 90% ready, but since I had not planned on it, telling me we got to load everything all up and go to run a drag and drive event with 1 day's notice, that ain't gonna happen. I just didn't want to do that. So. And I still need to help Bailey test and tune the car. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go test this car, because this car was ready to go. It just wasn't drag week ready yet. Jason Sachs, Cowboy Up Nova over here, and Bailey's car. A bunch of video information coming up on this bad boy. We're going to be putting that all together, probably in track testing, hopefully, tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to Martin. That'd be Tuesday. We're going to be at Martin on Tuesday testing Bailey's car, my car, this car for Jason Sack. And then I'm just going to stay over, and we will be there on Wednesday. So if you want to come see us on Wednesday, I'll be there. More than happy to talk to people, do whatever, help. I'll be helping people as much as I can. Oh, that's the other thing. So if you don't understand how drag week works, I am not in the program anymore. I'm not, when I ride with Bailey and when we're there working on the car and racing, I can go touch anybody's stuff I want. I can go work on anybody's stuff I want. When I'm not even racing or even part of the system, not there, I cannot. So I can't just go over there and help, work on somebody's car. I can give them advice and talk to them, but I can't actually work on anything. So that's the other reason why I just didn't go either. So we'll be there Wednesday, and then I do plan on being there on Friday too. I think we'll go probably for last day, because we have some fantastic racers out there. We got Ned Dumpy, SMX powered unlimited car, Alan Whitaker, Clark Rosenstengel. We got Les Smith. We got some really good fast cars out there right now. Hopefully we'll still be take the win in the overall, and I think we're probably going to win some classes too. And a lot of other racers out there too. I'm sorry if I just don't remember everybody that's out there and some of the other classes. So if you want to come see me, we'll be there on Wednesday. Probably going to be there on Friday too at Columbus, and watch the rest of this video, and you'll see what was all happening here on Monday with the guys that did make it to drag week. Alrighty, well, you see it in here, the SML back in for Cowboy Up Nova and Jason Sack. So this has been in the long process of getting built and going. Gosh, it's been over a year, I bet you. Yeah, been over a year since we delivered, or since he was here and we dynoed the engine. So that's just getting it all back up and going. So we're going to, he's still not 100% done, so we're trying to finish up little stuff here. Unfortunately, Jason's not going to be able to make the whole drag week. I mean, it starts in, 4 days or whatever it is. And it's just getting there. So, but he does plan on going, and we do plan on testing. So, going to drag week and maybe just doing an exhibition run, but he's just not prepared to make that kind of drive and do the stuff because it is hard. So, if you'd like to see this thing, you can go back and just see the link right of it and see a thing on the dyno, and we'll be hub dynoing this thing later. What? Alrighty, what's going on here is the headers, the flange after the headers got made is warped. And so it wasn't sealing up properly because it didn't have any silicone on it. We just have O-rings in the cylinder head. So let me show you the O-rings. So here's the O-rings, which it actually looks like it's sealing up on fine, but it was just had warp up here at some of these top sections. So what we did, figured out what we could do here. Very hard to mill this, okay? It's heavy. So I countersink these so we can build riser fixture and bolt the header down into the old cause here and make this flat. Now you can't, this is not like rigid, super rugged machining strength. You can't, we're gonna just take little cuts at a time just trying to get this thing nice and flat. But instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to fixture something like this to cut a flange after it's all done is hard.
That is all over the place.
Yeah. Pretty bad?
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
I'm gonna come up with a different word other than alrighty. Thinking so. Alrighty, so we're all here. They're just finishing up a little bit of wiring, and then what we're going to do is we've already actually started it up on pump gas because dual fuel system, and in the Holly dual fuel system, the bottom injectors on my SML are the pump gas, and then the race injectors are the big injectors up on top. All right, so what that's doing is the gas fuel system is running all the time through a separate fuel system, separate regulator, separate tank, separate everything. And so we can actually start this up on pump gas, and that will prime the methanol side of it, get everything all primed up. Both systems will actually run at the exact same time. Driving down the road, we're going to disable the methanol pump. Otherwise, it's just sitting there cycling and it just wearing out pumps, and it's just no use. So that will get disconnected. Probably take the, you gotta take the belt off of it. What you do, Jason?
Yep.
Yeah, so take the belt off of it, then the pump just doesn't spin. It's no big deal. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started up. As soon as he puts the belt back on down there, prime this fuel system up, set fuel pressure, and then since I've already done the base tune on this, but we're probably going to go back after it and just start out from ground zero. So we get it to start, we get it to rev up, we get it to go on the trans brake. If it'll do those three things, it's ready to make a short pull, and just to look at the numbers, make sure everything still looks the same, make sure nothing's different, make sure something's not wired wrong, because the wiring guys always screw everything up. So make sure everything's here. So Andy's here because he's really good about always making sure that I want to make sure everything is working proper and functional. In fact, he'll probably even going to go to the track with us too, aren't you? So he'll even go to the track with us and make sure everything's still working. Every single sensor, every single wire, every single thing. That's what they did on our car, on my car, Bailey's car, Jason's car. It's what you get when you pay the big bucks. Well, what does it say? It's what you get when you pay professional to make it happen. So anyways, we're gonna top off oil, do all that kind of stuff, and then we're gonna do those three things. Make sure it's idle or starting up, make sure it idles, make sure it revs up. Oh, actually, it's four things. Starts, idles, revs up, goes on brake. Sorry, there's actually four. So I gotta make sure it does all that, and then we'll probably be done for the night, depending on what time it is. It's getting to be 8 o'clock right now. So we'll get that done, then come back in the morning and start making some hits on this thing before we go do some testing. Alright, looks as though we got a bypass stuck on that oil pump. Alright. Put a line right from here to here. Blow right through this filter. Out of a gallon jug. Out of a gallon jug, and then we can see what kind of thing. I can do it just like this. Well, we just put a line. No, we'll just hook it up to something else. So what we've done is we hillbillied up this whole system. So this pump is sucking from the dry sump tank right to the engine, bypasses all lines, bypasses the old pump. It just is pumping there. You watch here. So this is one of my other pumps here. So ready? So I mean that's 120. Cranking it with a probably 750 RPM drill. So there's obviously the engine's holding pressure. That pump, something's happened to that pump that was on the engine, because it's not one of these pumps. Something's happened to it. It ain't no good. This proves it out. I mean, simple, easy, bada bing, bada boom test. So we're gonna have to check that out. He had just sent that pump out and had it redone and added some sections, so something has happened to it because it ain't right. So I guess we'll take it off tomorrow and see if we can figure it out ourselves. All right, so you saw our hillbilly concoction last night of putting my pump on it. So we did take the pump off of the engine, went through it, and really verified how the bypass and everything is working. And long story short, it's either figure it either has the wrong plunger in it or the wrong spring, possibly just the wrong spring. So we built the shim for the spring, so it puts it in a different spot. All right, and now we're testing it right here. So we hooked up everything. This is flowing oil just like last night into the engine. Where yesterday we couldn't make the thing make 50 pounds of oil pressure with the engine running, 4,000 RPM. So we bypassed everything. We now know that the pump. Let me think here, because we now know the only thing we didn't do is we didn't test the pump first. We probably should have tested the pump first. We could actually take the whole plunger out of this if we wanted to and test it exactly the way it was. I think we actually might just do that, huh?
It won't make a mess.
No. Yeah, we will make a mess.
They already got it set up here, right?
Huh?
They already have it set up?
Yeah, everything's set up here for pressure set. We know I've added half an inch to the spring. Still doesn't bottom out. We verified that it all moves and it still plunges. It still will bypass. It'll still do all that. So we might go back. We'll see. All right, so you can watch the gauge over here. And whoop.
Yep.
That is 150. It just shoots up to it really quick. Now we'll be able to back our bypass off and to set our pressure. So I think it got the wrong spring put in it from the manufacturer, possibly. Not sure. But the bypass still works. Everything still works exactly the way it's supposed to. Plunger goes in, out, does everything. It just, the spring is too short. So we're gonna put this all back together, start it up and see what we got.
Well, hold on, these things are turned.
Because I'm sure probably somebody's gonna ask or make a comment on. We already had the bypass before we took the pump off the car. While it was running, had the bypass screwed all the way in until it stopped, which is a no-no. It should be dead locked right there. When we took the pump apart over here, we ran the adjuster screw all the way in. It bottoms out and doesn't bottom out the spring and plunger. It was still fully active. So when I put that spacer in there to space the spring up, basically the same thing as either making a really longer spring or a longer plunger. Then we could bottom it all out, make the plunger not move, deadhead the pump, which you don't want to do. You want to have it always have some kind of bypass. So just FYI, we did run the adjuster screw in. It was wrong. It bottomed out on its own without bottoming out the plunger.
All right, turning ignition.
Well, that's like a 110 or so running at RPM, so I guess we'll see what it does. Yeah. The only difference is the system.
Right, but by cutting it,
It makes sense that it's that close too, because the ramp angle on that relief is that much, so we're,
Yeah, but we're if you're running it in, we should be raising the fuel for oil pressure. So when we first did it, it was whacked right up.
right,
Then we backed the pressure up on the pump right here and got it set to like 120, sitting here running. So that was running on the bypass, 100%. So here, it's got to be.
You gotta have 150 to get 120 there.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we just have that much pressure drop through the all
Can
the
we
line.
try to get it by?
On the fuel pressure.
All right, it's probably about right with it since the regulator's hooked up.
Okay.
So that should be fine. All right, timing is right. You can see the mark. It's on there. That's all good. All right, so starts, idles, revs up. Now we will checking everything out here, making sure oil is there to the turbos, and then we're gonna go put it up on load, up on the two-step. So we are 3 of our 4.
No, I'll work on it later. We're commanding mine right now, and I'm going.
Trans brake is operational. Trans fluid is in it.
Yep. Right hand, normal button right hander on the steering wheel.
What that is I just put it on trans brake and just go wide open throttle, and with no dumps, no anything in it, converter's just too tight with no dumps on it. So it wouldn't get past 2,500, 2,600 RPM just sitting there. So we're gonna get the dumps all turned on, or the dump turned on, and we'll see what the converter charge pressure and everything is right there. And that doesn't matter about boost builders or timing control, nothing. It has to get to a chip number before you can even before you can utilize any of that stuff. So they won't do anything at 2,500. That's obviously too lean. And or might have knocked all the timing out of it, so we'll take a look at it. So still struggling along with it, but I think we're getting closer. Huh? I'd say it was identical.
That's what I feel like too.
Alrighty, so what we had to do here is they're taking it off the hub dyno because I have another hub dyno appointment, and they're actually going to pull the transmission out of the car, drive down the Rosler right now to have them put an easy stage in it, an internal dump. And what that does is that dumps charge pressure, oil pressure before the converter, which helps it to spool. So it's just it makes the converter really loose, but leaves the converter tight for when it's on the going down track. So it's in most every turbo car there is. For some reason, it didn't end up in this one. So they're gonna move this thing over here, put it in the middle of the floor, start putting on the other car, and busy. All right, so we just got done coming up on two-step. You saw it right there. So the new internal dump and new external dump valves are working pretty good. It's still a little bit slow, but it's something we can work with. It's just something we can work with, so that's pretty good. So now that was 4,800 RPM on the two-step, and where's it at? 11 pounds of boost. So that's probably a really good spot to start at. We probably needs more than that, but good place to start at. But it's going to be able to do it because it gets up to full boost at, it's a little long, 7 seconds at full boost, but we'll be able to get that better and make everything happen. So that's cool. So we'll be doing start working on doing some base pulls on this thing, and we'll show you numbers as we do that. So it's 1,000 something, 1,056 or something like that. So let's see what we got here. It's actually pretty reasonable because we are seriously under-timed right there because that made 14 pounds of boost. That was, what RPM was it? 14 pounds of boost. Oh man, I seriously sissied out of that. I gotta read your tag. That was 6,500 RPM. So it's all right. That's all good. It's not gonna make much more boost after that, anyways, because we're just trying to get our base tune here and just make sure it's the same or relatively close to what it was on the engine dyno. So in the car, I like to run cars with a flat timing curve, no curve at all. It's minimal timing everywhere, and we'll just throw a bunch of boost at it down in lower ranges to make power instead of throwing timing at it. And then we use timing curves to control horsepower, and then it never is trying to go in different spots in the table, and it gets all confusing. So that all looks pretty good. And our O2 is, yeah, I mean, and we're pretty rich for that area right through here. I mean, that's a target is 4.2, 4.3, and it's meeting target, taking a little bit of fuel out. So that looks pretty good. No problem with that. Our charge pressure, that's fine. All right, so you saw there it had it mapped out funny on there, and it made 21 pounds of boost, but it's taken 60 pounds of dome pressure to do it. So I'm thinking about that, trying to figure out why that's so much. And so now we had the back pressure gauge was scaled wrong, so it gave us bad information. So we got the correct scaling in there now. And now we'll do another hit on this thing, and really should make, you know, 30-ish pounds of boost, and should make, if it makes 30 pounds of boost, it better make over 2,000 horsepower at the tire. So anyways, but like I said earlier, with the timing, I got a flat timing curve. We didn't engine dyno it with a flat timing curve. I have a regular map in it for that. So at 20 pounds of boost, we were 6 to 7 degrees of timing short, and it's rich there. So I'm just gonna clean the tune-up up a little bit here, try getting it to make 30 pounds of boost. So I got 80 pounds of gate dome pressure on this, and now I'm wondering if we're scaled right on that sensor too. Let's check. Alright, ready? So I put soap on here. There you go. Now.
Yeah, the other one's leaking too.
Is it? Hit this.
Do it again.
Spray this one in. Yeah. So there's something going on there. Got the tools for those?
Yeah.
So been commanding more boost dome pressure and just hasn't been hitting it. So they're commanding 80 pounds of dome pressure. And it only gets up to 40 and it just sits there and leaks like that. That's solid. There's that's not right.
It just has that weird look right there.
Unless the forces air in and then is supposed to ram the seal out against this lip. You follow what I'm getting at?
Right, but with the spring in there, it's going to look like this when me and you try to assemble it right now.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. All right. It ain't leaking now. That's about 80 psi. Alrighty, the laptop battery went dead, so we're going to, oh, it's right there. So we're just going to charge it up, see how much boost it made. Not very much still, but it at least is heading the right direction because that's what the graph is supposed to look like. Still climbing. It only made 54 or something like that. But here's where that dome pressure was falling off. So we'll see what it just made for boost. I think it's, getting close, but we're still nowhere near what it's gonna make for boost. Yeah, so I think we're gonna close this up for tonight, and then we're gonna come back in the morning and try to keep on working on this thing. But that was pretty neat. Looked like it was definitely above where we were, so let me check our boost controller, make sure it's working. All right, so CO2 is working correct now. Picked up a bunch of horsepower out there at the low levels, and then I think now I'm just running into just the dyno control, so it starts out so low because it's the way we're running it right here. This thing starts out at 4,000 RPM and 4 pounds of boost, and we're trying to get this thing up you know, this is our boost curve right here, until the thing just gets revved up, because I have all this timing in it. You know, the hub dyno is not a perfect evaluation of it, but we're probably gets up here and then it starts accelerating so fast, then the dyno catches it and tries to pull it backwards a little bit. So all things said and done, not a big deal. But again, at least the dome control did what we wanted it to do, so that is a bonus. Although it jumped up here, that's the green line, and then it pulled it backwards, and then engine RPM goes down, and then engine RPM goes back up as it starts to put dome pressure back on it. So actually it's not doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Let me get that figured out here. What in the heck is going on? That sounded great. Let's see what is going on here. So it's still only it actually made 22 pounds of boost, but it is just way off.
So we made 193 horsepower per cylinder on the 1500 horse run, and we just made 13. So that makes it 222 loss. So did we lose a cylinder? Because that math is pretty close.
That bad plug wire? Bad plug wire. All right,
Brand new.
brand new.
Let's keep checking the other ones. We'll make sure we got one. Check it.
Since we have a bunch of faulty EGTs, can't see that in the EGT. So you typically would see when it does that over here, where everything's okay, and then all of a sudden just kind of flat lines out, or it would go backwards. Typically you would find a bad spark plug wire. Usually they have a pinhole in it, and then the spark finds the least path of resistance. Cylinder pressure is building, it's getting more, so it says, too hard to spark the spark plug. Go out the spark plug boot somewhere to wherever it's easiest to go. So, or just flat out the plug wire is just plain out bad. We can also look at spark plugs, like spark plug wires, coil. Something is happening there, but normally you'd be able to see it in the EGT, because the EGT will be going and fall off. So can't see that, so we have to manually go through and look at everything.
Or the spark plug wire blew up internally.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Trying to figure that out.
We'll try to figure that out. That could have been from us testing the output features or anything, or just bad from building it.
So what it probably does is it had a little remnant strap there at low power requirements. It probably can make the spark. At high power requirements or high cylinder pressures or getting higher cylinder pressures, it can't. So my hope here is, and normally also, that is a good reason why it won't build boost, is because it's not spinning the turbos because you have dead cylinder. So you're now asking slightly too large turbos for a 400 cubic inch LS SML. Okay, so but we need those turbos to make 3,000 plus horsepower. Then all of a sudden you're telling it starts out as an 8-cylinder, and then all of a sudden it starts up, and then it ends up maybe a 6-cylinder. Can't make, don't have enough cylinders, don't have enough engine to spin the turbos any longer. So We'll put those together. We just put in a new set of spark plugs so we can get a better read, and we'll go from there. Still making me mad. Yeah, it was on a mission, then it dropped down, then it, I don't know. The wastegate's never open. Okay, so wastegate's never open. The surge valves are opening up and dumping off all the boost. So, let's go figure that out. That makes sense.
That's 20 pounds of vacuum.
All right, keep going. All right,
There's one.
so that's sealed. All right, let's see what we got going on. There you go. So we got ourselves a bad, something's wrong with this one. This blow-off valve, and it is leaking, not holding any vacuum, which makes both of them not work because they're tied together. Which also is tied into our fuel pressure, so the whole thing's actually good that it doesn't work because it keeps everything from not working. Put your little vacuum pump on it and see what it does, but I think it's okay.
Do we want to pull that other one apart and pull that spring
Take
off?
it off anyways and change the spring, or take that spring out. Let's see, so that's make the, you can scroll that up a little bit, make the blow-off valve not be a leaker, and it picks up 400 horsepower, 500 horsepower. That makes sense.
What'd you have the dome set at?
I turned it down.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah.
40 pounds boost?
Yeah, but it was like, it only jumped up to 40 pounds of boost right at the last second. So it's starting out, it's because our ramp is so slow. Really hard to build boost like that.
Not 6. It'll take a degree on accident.
Safe. Yeah, nice and safe. Yes, it's nice and safe. Well, that's looking better. We'll see how many pounds of boost it made there. I think it's the dyno's accelerating so fast through there. It's not really grabbing an accurate number as it should. I think actually the numbers end up lower than what they should be on here. So,
What do you think it is, man?
huh?
What do you realistically think it is? Depending on boost, I guess.
It's probably 2,600 right there. So it's 15. So it'll be 3.6. No, that's pretty close. That's pretty close to 3,000 at the crank. I think it should be over 25. Should be pretty close to 26, I think. So we'll see what did here.
How many pounds did it take to make 3,000 on the engine dyno?
It's either 45 or 50.
Okay. And here you're
And we're at 45. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Back pressure is nice. It's 50 pounds of back pressure on 45 pounds of boost pressure. That's nice. Tune up looks good. Pretty safe. It's just not loaded as hard here as what it's going to be on a track, which is will make turbos work better, makes everything better. So I think we'll just take a look at spark plugs and just verify everything and see if he wants to make any more horsepower or what he wants to do. But yeah, I would figure, yeah, I would figure that's maybe about 100 short or so. Just the way it loads on the dyno. You can see we've been making progress. That's good. Well, it sounded really good. Hurt my ears. I should have had my headphones
There
on.
you go. Looks like you lifted early.
No, I saw the tack number come up. Oh, darn it. Well, it sounded good right there too. Jeez, oh Pete's. So I called for more dome pressure, and but at the peak numbers, it made the exact same dome pressure as last time. They're in the exact same horsepower. Different RPM because it was zung right up there. Even though, yeah, it made the exact same horsepower. In fact, at the end, it even made 43 pounds of boost. So it was going down a little bit there. So there's definitely a magic spot there where it's unhappy. So we turned up the CO2 pressure. So maybe it's just getting in an area it's unhappy with. I'll give it a little more dome pressure. Right up there. Yeah, that works. Now, so we changed I had to change the actual CO2 pressure to raise it up to where we actually had it, because it takes it will not give 100% of what the CO2 pressure is. So when you have it set at 80, it will not give it 80, it'll only give it 70 max. So we raise it up. Now all my freaking numbers are way up, and it just shot up the boost instantaneously, and so now I got to redo my boost curve again. There you go. So on that last pull, don't know if you can see that or not. You see that?
Yep.
The porcelain moved up. We'll grab another plug here. So the porcelain broke. Plug looks fine. The strap's fine. But something happened here, and this plug failed and shut off our gap. So that's where the porcelain's supposed to be. And this one, you can see the porcelain actually has come up and touched the strap, which is weird.
Well, that's probably open to what it looks like.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That is weird. So this little piece of porcelain actually did break. Spark plugs, spark plugs, spark plugs. Stupid stuff all the time. So let's see what it made for boost. It should have made 25 or 50 pounds of boost. Oh, hey, do me a favor. Take the radiator cap off on camera.
It might spit a little. It was full before.
That's called zero pressure. You know why? Because it's impossible on an SML to pressurize the coolant system. Impossible. Cannot possibly happen. Impossible. Have to do some research on that. Go to our website, check it out. Same thing as the SMX. If you want to see what the SML is, go to the SMX.
Or they could just buy one themselves.
Or you could just buy one.
Yeah. And then you could see.
Yeah. Engine builders welcome to buy. I don't know why more engine builders don't buy this stuff from me. I'm more than happy to sell it to you. I don't have to build every engine in the world. I got really good block heads, parts available, keep all this stuff in stock. So you could build it with your little niche to it. Doesn't matter to me, man. All right, so we made, it's still good. That's only 50 pounds of boost. 49.5 pounds of boost. I think that's what it says. Yeah, 49.4. So 50 pounds of boost. AFRs look good. Everything looks sweet. I think this thing is really nice. That's a solid, let's see, what's 3,200 minus 15%. So 3,200 would be 320, be 640, so 640. So 3,200 minus 640, what's that? There you go. That's a pretty solid 3,200 horsepower. LS can't lift the heads, will not, cannot, does not, will never blow a head gasket, will never pressurize the coolant system. Drag and drive. So let's look at some stuff here on the chart, and I'll show you just a couple little things. So drag and drive. This thing's going to be here. The bottom 7 injectors are for pump gas. This is going to go drive, thousands of miles and make that kind of horsepower. So let's go out here and I'll show you something on the graph too, which is interesting. What you see here too is, so all these little lines right here were all lines involved with the leaky blow-off valve. The simplest of things. So always check that stuff. Make sure that they're working, that they're functioning. If your blow-off valves, they might have the wrong spring and might have some other stuff. Blow-off valves, when you rev it up, whoosha, just not wide open throttle, just sitting there, whoomba, like 3,000, 4,000 RPM. When it comes back down, it better open up your valves and blow out air. Then that's the easiest way to go. Whoosh, whoosh. Yep, cool, they're working. If you go one like that and they don't move, start looking at it, make sure they're working. Maybe they got too much spring, maybe there's some little issue there. But this is pretty god darn good. And I mean, that was all live. So regardless of how hot it is, there's no pressure in it. So that is the golden deal. That's pretty cool. It's a solid 3,200 horsepower.
That is awesome.
Solid. So actually the next things you're gonna do is got to get these freaking EGTs working.
Yep.
So that is a real pain in the butt. We would have seen what plug it was, what cylinder it was if the
I think
EGTs
there's
were
all
working.
new ones at Andy's waiting.
Yeah, so you need to get that whole thing taken care of. Then it's going to do a whole bunch of street driving with it to work on the street tune, get all that stuff sorted out. But we'll probably going to be going testing before we do street drive tunes, unless you do that on Monday or something. But
Right, we'll see again.
we'll see how it goes. But got to fix the EGTs because that is a real hampering deal. for tuning, not being able to see a problem right there. So I think we're all done. This is going to be a really nice piece, so I'm looking very forward to tuning this actually this week. So come back and see where we can get this go. This is a pretty light car too, so it's got all the capabilities of doing something pretty good. Anyways, I'm Steve Morris. Like, subscribe. You can go over to Kyle's channel, do stuff over there. Oh, hey, Kyle has we're the 30 under 30. If you go over to Kyle's Facebook page or my Facebook page, you'll see this little forum, and it's just the drag racing industry for the top 30 people that are under 30 years old. We'll see if we can get Kyle in there. Never know. Anyways, have a great day.